What's on, mini fans? I've been thinking about doing this project for a while. An updated modular shack build. Mark II, if you will. I wanted a simple way to make loads of shacks quickly, and this is what I came up with. Honestly, I didn't intend on making this many, it just kinda got away from me. Anyway, as always, if you like what I do, like, share and subscribe, and ring that notification bell to stay up to date. I have some Amazon links in the description for my most used items if you're interested. Enough of that, let's get on to building. The materials I use in this project are XPS foam, chipboard, cardstock, corrugated paper, and then odds and ends from my bits box. In terms of tools, I use my hobby knife, clippers, and pin vise. I start off by sketching out some rough shapes with a marker onto the XPS foam, and then I go ahead and start cutting away with my hobby knife, and I extend it pretty much fully and do several passes. Don't try and cut all the way through each time. Some of the cuts aren't that clean, but it doesn't really matter. Then I join some of the XPS foam bits together, and I just use PVA glue, slather it in that, whack the extra piece on, and then put cocktail sticks through to hold it in place. I don't want all the shacks to have a regular sort of rectangular or blocky shape, so I start hacking away different bits, different angles, breaking up the shapes a little bit more. Now I do want these to be modular, and I figured I can magnetize these. So what I do here, I've got this kind of sticky magnetic sheet. So I trace the shapes of the different shacks onto this, cut it out with scissors, and stick it onto the bottoms. Next up, I drill some holes into the tops, the roofs of these shacks, one on either side, although a few of the bigger ones I do 3. So I drill a hole in, put some PVA glue in, and then whack a small magnet. Onto the doors. I wanted to keep these pretty simple, because I'm having to do 20, but I did want them all slightly different. So I use a variety of materials. I use some chipboard, some cardstock, and some corrugated paper, and I make little hinges and then use cocktail sticks as little bars. Each one's a bit different, so you can just see what I do. What I've actually done off camera is Mod Podge seal all this XPS foam, because I wasn't sure how, if I wanted to super glue onto it, I didn't want it to melt. So that's what I've done. Anyway, what I do now is detail these walls. So I use corrugated paper, cardstock, chipboard, other bits and pieces, drinking straws, and I just go around and cover most of the XPS foam. And I just glue all of this on with hot glue. It might melt the foam a little bit, but it's not noticeable at this point. Off camera, I have sealed all the cardstock that I've put on, or card and chipboard, and then I've primed and then base coated all of these with burnt umber. Then I start the painting off, my standard dry brushing everything in silver. Onto some colours. I do the same thing pretty much over and over, just different colours. So I do some blue, green, red, yellow, purple. But basically I'm using sponges on sticks. I don't use a paintbrush to actually paint in this project. So yeah, sponge on a stick, sponge on colours in different places, on some of the corrugated paper, on the XPS walls, so on and so forth. I felt a bit guilty at this point. I haven't used a single rivet in this project. So I figured I'll have to do one of my other go-to Necromunda things and do some hazard stripes. So I picked out a few panels, painted them black, and then masked them off, and then sponged on white. After that white's dried, I sponge on flesh tone, and then finally I sponge on yellow. Ooh, peeling off masking tape time. And whoopsie daisies, quite a lot of that white spilt underneath. I should have done the trick where you paint it all black, but hey ho, just a bit of a touch up. Oh, I do use a paintbrush here. Yep, I just touch up this little bit with a paintbrush. So I did lie before. Black wash time. So I'm using my homemade black wash. Recipe is, there's a link to my recipe video down in the description. And now I do apply this with a brush. Does this count as painting? I guess it does. So I think I've lied twice here. But anyway, I black wash everything and then just dab it off with tissues on the sort of coloured panels. I wanted to warm up some of the panels, like the hazard stripe ones, the yellow ones, and some of the red ones. So I used some homemade brown wash and just whack that on those bits and dab off a little bit of some. Rusty rust time. So I'm using my homemade rust texture, link to the video down in the description again. So I just slap this on, splodge this on in different places. love the sponges on sticks. I highly recommend making some of these. Very useful. So anyway, I now sponge on burnt umber around that rust texture, and then on some of the coloured panels, and around the bottoms just for sort of dirt and grime. Sorry, I'm a bit out of shot on this one, but I just sponge on some orange over the rusty bits. As a final bit of detail, I have printed out some posters that I found online. Just find them, I think I found these on Instagram, or maybe just a Google search. Anyway, my printer's a bit funny at the moment though. Colour is messed up, so I just printed these as grayscale. And then what I figured I'd do, because normally I just whack them into watered down PVA glue to stick them on, but I want to add a bit of colour and a bit of staining. So I watered down some PVA glue with brown wash. Whack the poster in, slap it on, sticks beautifully, and it's stained. Very nice. And that is the project complete. Here are some photos of the finished pieces, and there are quite a few of them. 20 little shacks. Now I could see lots of uses for these, just by themselves, in various stacked formations, and then in and around other buildings. Brilliant. Very pleased with this one, and it was quick and easy to do. So anyway, that's the end of the project. I will see you in the next vid. Cheers for now.